The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube. And thanks to our friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we are syndicated coast to coast across the United States into 12 million additional households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten, and once again, I implore you to visit my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where these shows are posted, and I comment on these programs and other issues in the news. And you are welcomed and encouraged to post your own comments, whether you agree with the author or not. Today we have a very interesting and important and informed guest who has a very serious and important message to bring to us. Tomorrow is Holocaust Remembrance Day around the world. Now, every one of you probably know the story of Anne Frank, the German-born Jewish girl whose diary of life, age in hiding. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, Gary, but turn your video off.
Okay. We're stopping the webcam, for which a lot of people may be happy. Anyway, you all know the diary of Anne Frank. Her coming-of-age in hiding story has become a classic of hope in desperate times. But what was not known until recently is that another Jewish girl in Poland, about the same age as Anne Frank, was also keeping a diary of her life under Nazi occupation in the Jewish ghetto of Bedzin. Her name was Rutka Laskier. Well, today we are pleased to welcome Zahava Scherz, her sister, to speak about Rutka's notebook, A Voice from the Holocaust. Zahava Scherz, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. Welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com. Excellent. Because, you know, with a name like Baumgarten, I'm sensitive to when people mispronounce names like this.
Yes, Baumgarten.
You actually didn't... You actually didn't know... Thank you for that. I will pass that along to my dad. That's where I got it from. You probably didn't know, or you did not know, we are told, about the existence of your sister at all, never, during the lifetime of your father. Can you tell us a little bit about how it was that your father never told his second post-Holocaust family about his first, your sister, and his wife, and how you learned about the notebook, and how you dealt with it when you heard about it?
Yes, well, it's not exactly correct. I did know about Rutka and her brother Heniush and the first wife of my father when I got to be 14. And the story was that I got across a photo album and I saw a picture of two children, and I told my father that the girl looks like me a lot. And they said yes, and these are my children, Rutka and Heniush, and they were killed in Auschwitz with their mother. So I did know that my father had children and family before the war, but he didn't talk much about it, and I didn't ask about it, and I felt very sorry for it. I felt very close to the girl, and 14 years later, when my baby daughter was born, I called her Ruth, which is after Rutka. So there was a connection, and there was some knowledge, but I didn't know anything about her until 2 years ago when I got a phone call, and I was informed that a diary of Rutka Laskier was found in Poland. And that was the starting of a big voyage and a big saga. Do you hear me?
I wanted to ask, yes, I do. Zahava Scherz, I wanted to ask you about the fact that obviously your sister knew. I mean, she writes about the horrors that awaited her in the concentration camp. How is it that the people in the ghetto knew? And if that's the case, it seems to me that it was inconceivable that the populace living around these concentration camps were unaware of the horrors that were being committed within.
Yes, you just pointed a very, very crucial part of Rutka's notebook. She absolutely knew that what the Germans are doing, that they are determined to kill the Jews and to throw them to the gas chamber. And if she knew, everybody else knew, and also the neighbors around. I don't have any doubt. For me, it was a big surprise, and I would say a big shock, because we were educated to know that the Jewish people really didn't know what's going in Auschwitz. Benzin was very close to Auschwitz, and we are talking about the year 1943. And this is one of the strongest points in Rutka's notebook, that there is an evidence that children and adults knew what the Germans are doing in Auschwitz.
So given this fact and the obvious documentation of what was going on, and the American liberators were ordered to document everything, because it was even predicted at that time, I think by Dwight Eisenhower, if I'm not mistaken, that there would be those later who would try to deny the Holocaust. And now we hear so much of this. Yes, a few people died, but a lot of people die in wars. It wasn't that many people. You've heard all this nonsense.
Yes.
Are we facing the very possibility that Holocaust studies may be removed from curriculums, that people